Hello and welcome to our podcast, Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project. I'm Lauren and I'm Michelle, and we're so excited you stopped by for a visit. Come on in. Yeah, make yourself at home. We're two Midwestern sisters who love a good old-fashioned conversation and enjoy sharing our life experiences with one another and you. Consider this your one-stop shop for cozy, mindful well-being, along with some entertainment and lots of wheezy laughing. Oh, you bet there'll be a lot of that going around. Our goal is to live our coziest life and inspire you to do the same, because the truth is, we think it's good for your mind and your body. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, let's get cozy. Well, hello there. Ciao tutti, coming in from Tuscany. This is Lauren, your host of Cozy Conversations with the Sister Project, being joined by my extra cozy co-host, Michelle Anderson, because
this is true. Hey, yeah.
It's fall, y'all.
Yeah, it's fall. It's fall, right? I mean, I am surrounded by fall. The fall box came out. We unloaded it. Ryan wanted me to throw the stuff we didn't use this year into the donation bin, but instead, like a lazy asshole, I just put it back in the bin and sent it downstairs. But fall, y'all. Fall,
dude,
you all.
You just brought me back to when we would beg our mom, June, to take out the Halloween fall box from the crawl space. Beg her to take it out.
And she loved taking it out.
She would crawl army style into the crawl space and grab it out. I still know what the smell of that box smelled like. It smelled like the inside of a mask from like the 1980s. Because
I thought you were going to say...
No,
yeah,
not
that like
inside
not inside of a wooden leg, not the inside of a wooden leg. No. Or the inside of Mia's backpack yesterday. Came home from school and was like, there's something wrong with my backpack. And she's like, it smells horrible. And I was like, in my mind, I'm like, there's something rotten in there, because she just loosely puts her food in there. And she was like, smell my binder. And we were like, holy shit,
why does it
what
smell?
Is it? And then she was like, take a whiff. And then she was like, I think I found the problem. She pulled out probably a month-old baggie that was flattened and filled with penicillin. Okay. It was completely rotten antibacteria, antibiotic growing in a baggie.
It was a science lab in her school bag.
It was horrific.
Hopefully she gets an A+ in that class.
Don't worry, I stood strong and I refused to get her new backpack.
All right, moving on, Michelle. We have some housekeeping to do, but I'm seeing that your back has been giving you some trouble.
Yes. I have been pickling more than stretching. I'm having a little sciatica issue. Not to worry, I'm going to be fine. We're taking care of it. But I went to Curaleaf to go find myself a topical to see if that could just give me some relief. And I found something, Lauren. Have you ever heard of this Unwind? That's the name of this brand here. I don't know if you guys can see this. It's called Unwind. And this is a vanilla grapefruit salve. It's a 1-to-1-to-1 with CBD, THC, and CBG. And I was told by the gal at the counter that people describe this as a very effective topical pain reliever, and I agree. It is. I'm rubbing it fairly regularly, and it's taking the edge off and making stretching easier, making just making movement easier. It's not the cure all, but it is a relief giver.
Listen. I love a good topical.
This one does the shit. I have so same, Lauren. So folks, if you are looking to go get some plant medicine, go visit our friends at Curaleaf and use our code Sister30.
Sister30 for 30% off. And we will be having an asking for a friend event later in October. So keep your eyes and ears peeled and open. Michelle, I am so excited to finally announce that we have new reviews coming in. We have begged, we have promised lip kisses, nipple tweaks.
No, you can do the nipples. I'm giving the mouth kiss.
I would love to just do a light little, you know what? I just have to throw this out there. I got a breast exam the other day, and my OBGYN did a little, patter on my breast, and then she lightly squeezed my nipple. Is that something new they're doing?
God, why
are we doing that?
Be allowed.
Why are we doing that? Is that to see if there's discharge?
I don't want.
What are we doing? Why are we doing that?
Come on.
And also,
I mean, I know that that's a thing, but get a warning.
Can we maybe just say
hey,
maybe listen, I know it seems kind of weird, but I'm going to squeeze your nipple real quick. And she's talking to me about books and gives me a little squeeze, but it's like, listen, give me a heads up.
Come on.
This might be
I'm with you. I don't, no one should be squeezing anyone's nipples without addressing it first.
Consent.
I'm just going to say it.
Consent.
So I am, please, if you want to give me consent to squeeze your little nips, you guys out there for a review, I'll do it. But I'm going to come in. I'll tell you I'm doing it.
Yep. So Brandy, do you consent? Do you consent? Because Lauren is coming for you. And Brandy writes, fellow pickleball fan with 5 stars. She says, you two are absolutely fantastic. I'm new to listening and have fallen hard. You are undoubtedly my kind of people, and you literally make me laugh out loud during every episode. I met Michelle playing pickleball at the Penn Township Courts in Vandalia, Michigan, while she was visiting Diamond Lake this summer, and she even gave me a shout out. Way to make this small town girl have instant fame in our pickleball world. Anyway, keep doing what you are doing. You are definitely making a difference in my days for sure. Thank you, Brandy. So glad you're in. Welcome.
Lip kiss or nipple tweak. Which one do you want? Thank you, Brandy.
Lauren's fucked up. I'm sorry.
I mean, listen, I had a Campari spritz. What do you want from me? Michelle, speaking of pickleball, we have a league. Our first league on Wednesday night sold out as we imagined that it would. So we have a secondary league that's for happy hour on Friday. Spill the deets.
Okay, so the deets are pretty much the same. Fellow pickle enthusiasts and fellow folks curious to try something new and step out of your comfort zone. So come sign up for the Friday League. It's from 4:30 to 6 o'clock. It starts in October, that same week as the Wednesday League, for 8 weeks and goes through December. Link is in the bio. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. Sign up.
And it's going to be so fun. Michelle will be there. I will be on the Wednesday night, probably league and whatnot. Michelle, will you be joining on the Friday nights?
I will be there. I will be there.
Try
to keep me away. Try to keep me away.
We won't fight you. We won't fight you. Okay,
I'm
you guys.
I'm the what about Bob at Net Games.
I'm just what about Bob to my therapist, but that's okay. All right, you guys, listen up. We've got a great episode for you. I'm giving you a little catch up and lowdown on what's happening here in Italy. Michelle's talking fall, y'all. And then our hot topic for today's podcast episode is why it's important to lean into the fear you might have for doing the things you want to do, but they might scare you a little bit. So tune in, stay cozy, and enjoy. Okay, ciao.
Wow. Hey, where in the world is Lauren Masrella? She travels around the world. I'm going to go ahead and bring this in. Thought maybe the folks would want to hear what we're saying.
I just want to toast to all of our listeners and to you, Michelle, with the Campari spritz. Here's a clink. And right now we are sitting. Honestly, I am just sitting in Tuscany. Oh my God, I could.
And you're outside right now. So for listeners that are listening, Lauren is sitting outside. Where is everybody?
Let me explain
what time is it? Why is it so quiet there?
So that's a great question. So where I am, we are staying in a little town called Poggibonsi, and it's in Tuscany, very near to Siena and San Gimignano or Gimignani. I can't remember how to pronounce it, but we're in Tuscany. So we're in the land of wine and plenty of grapes. But where I am,
have you guys been walking around saying this the whole time? This place blow.
I've literally almost started crying. There's just so much beauty to take in. I mean, it's so peaceful. I am looking at rolling hills of vineyards, of olive groves, of villas. I mean, it is just breathtaking. Oh. And here's the deal. We have not been doing wine country like one might do wine country, where we're going on tastings and everything. We've been enjoying the little pockets of cities and towns, or I think they call them borgos, Borgo. A borgo is a small little town within bigger parts of Italy, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Our cousin Fabrizio kind of was educating us on this. Now, where we are I'm sitting on a terrace of our Airbnb on this family's villa. This is a generational villa that's been passed down from generation to generation. And it's very dilapidated. Actually, many of the buildings on this villa, which I think it is actually a small, tiny town, And there's all these like dilapidated old ass Tuscan homes and small buildings that the family is flipping and turning into Airbnb. So I'm going to just take my camera.
God, shut up. Are you serious?
I'm on camera right now on YouTube. You guys can see I'm pointing to like, this is the building that our Airbnb is in, but there's like 4 Airbnbs in there. There's 4 apartments. That building.
Now, is there a common like kitchen area or
no,
anything?
We have our
or
own.
do you have your own space?
It's an Airbnb. It's an apartment. Like, think of it as an apartment.
Okay, got it.
But what they're doing, so they produce olive oil and they produce wine. But what they're doing is that they're turning, and they have this. It's called a biolago. It's a natural.
Sounds like it's good for the environment.
It is bio. Anything bio, I feel like you see on like
thumbs
Prada, thumbs up,
good job.
thumbs up.
You know,
so the biolago. It's basically like a natural pool. They ask you not to put on any sunscreen or oils. They can find ones if you need it for that, but different chemicals will kind of ruin the natural essence of this pool.
Cool.
It is freaking cool. So, and they're trying to turn this space into a venue for people to have weddings so that they can have a wedding on the property and everyone can stay on the property. So for our listener, if you are eager to find a cool place to stay in Tuscany or know of a 50th birthday or something coming up, this would be a really cool place to do that.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, that sounds amazing. Keep going.
Okay. So right now, so we had my cousin-in-law, Freddie is Anthony's cousin, married Alice. So Freddie and Alice got married in a castle in Poggibonsi, a legit castle. So cool. A table of 25 of us. I feel so lucky to have even been invited and included on their day.
Yeah.
And it's,
well,
right?
They know who to invite. The cool, well-traveled family members.
Freddie was like, you and Anthony, every time we tell you guys we're going to be here or you want to meet us there, you always meet us.
You know, I have to say that is something that you and Anthony are so good about, staying connected with your long distance friends and family.
Thank you. And that's why. Thank you for saying that. But I will say that is why we're going to go to see tonight, this evening, we will be having dinner with our wedding photographer, Susanna Antici. Or Antiki. I can't remember how to pronounce it properly. But she is a half an hour from here, and we will be spending the evening with her and her family. Because last time we were here in Tuscany, we stayed at her family's home with her whole family. Nonna Maria, Babbo is what they call dad in this area, this region is Babbo.
I love it.
Yeah. So we definitely try to stay in touch with the people that we meet because, well, first of all, you get an opportunity to like really embed yourself, kind of like really kind of
be
dive
immersed
into
in the culture.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, there will be a lot of funny Italian and English speaking tonight because Susanna's fluent in English, but there's always those, you know, hiccups with language, but it'll be so fun.
Amazing.
So yeah, we're doing that. And I just want to say going back for just one moment for the wedding, 25 people in a castle in Tuscany, thumbs up. I highly recommend that is the smallest. I've been to a 4-person wedding before, but that 25 person, it was so intimate. It was amazing. And just people getting married these days, the cost is lower. It's so worth it if you can make it small like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm going to keep that in mind for down the road.
Totally. Something to think about. And then lastly, I just want to say, I've got a couple things to share, but speaking of Airbnb tips, I wanted to share, did I share any Airbnb tips on our last episode? I don't think I did or have.
No, I know. And it gets confusing because people have asked. So you shared a couple tips on Instagram, but I don't believe that we talked a little about this. Yeah, let's do it.
Just a few things. And I think that this goes for whether you are traveling domestically or internationally. Here's the deal. Always before booking, always message the host before booking because you want to see how responsive they are. Also, the reviews play a huge role. We're staying in a place tomorrow in Rome that has only 2 reviews on its site for the home that we're staying in. But the host, the guy that is hosting us, has 2 other properties and has hundreds of reviews. So I asked him, I said, hey, we're really interested in your space, but why does this house only have 2 reviews? And he responded back like fair, and they were great reviews. He was like, great question. And then he explained why. And then I'm like, okay, we're going to book with you and we'll take our chances and hopefully it's not a catfish.
Hope for the best.
Also, hope for the best. if you need things, ask for them. Like a pack and play, people are so accommodating. If you need a pack and play or an iron, they will get the shit for you. And so it's there when you arrive. And always, always check for the cancellation policies. Many of these places that we've been looking at offer free cancellation before a certain date. So if you find something that comes across that's better or in a better location, you can cancel without penalty. So there's a lot of ways to find the perfect place for you and your family on Airbnb. And there's ways to not. So definitely thread through, get yourself, like put a little investigative hat on when looking for an Airbnb place. And then the last two things I wanted to share is that all bets are off when it comes to my shopping at this point.
Yeah, how's it going? How many suitcases? What are you getting? Where are you going? Are you worried? How are you guys going to get it in the car? Is Luna going to have a space?
I'm not worried. You know why? Because I don't shop a lot at home for sport. I shop for need and necessity. And I'll tell you what.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Shopping for fun in another country is fucking fun. And the last thing I noticed or have been noticing is that I have been experiencing little to zero anxiety all around.
Do you think that could have to do with the fact that you're not constantly connected to your own life? The world around you doesn't exist there the way it does when you're at home. You aren't absorbing the daily pressures, home, family. It's not in front of you. It's there. You can text, you're talking, but it's not at every waking breath in your moment.
I think that has a lot to do with it. There's no home anxiety. Like I'm kind of going from one place to another, but I will say I thought that I would have anxiety. I thought that I would have like traveler's anxiety, worried about what the next place would look like. Is Luna going to be okay? And I have to say, traveling with Luna has been so much fun. It's been a hot ass mess at times. And she has literally thrown full blown meltdowns in stores. But you know what? My mother-in-law has been such a pleasure to travel with. Shout out to my mother-in-law, Candy, who
I
is
love her
70.
so much. I love you, Candy. I love you, Candy.
She's turning 70 this year. She has never left for a month at a time like this. She's got a boatload of grandchildren at home, 2 dogs, a husband. She's got kids. She's got plenty to do and take care of at home. But we invited her and she decided to come for the whole trip. And having her on this trip has helped immensely with how I also react to Luna's meltdowns, because Candy doesn't give a fuck.
She is the most chilled out, even keeled lady I have ever met.
And now I'm wondering if that's where...
Now I know where Anthony gets it.
Exactly.
100%. It's where Anthony gets it.
Totally.
100%.
And it's beautiful to be able to realize that now, because I didn't really know that going into this. I've always known Candy's chill, has a great sense of humor. But when it comes to the easygoingness of traveling, that's my kind of travel. I can travel with people. Oh man. And you're the same way. You're easy to travel with too, a delight. You guys have all passed the auditions. You're always welcome.
We always do. I always do.
So that has also been like a huge highlight of the trip. And I've never said this before, but I have to say it now. My manicure is falling off. Spooky season is here. Soup season is here in Chicago.
It's time.
I've never been, and I'm not ready to come home, but I'm not going to fight it. I'm going to just willingly pack my bags and return to Chicago.
You're not going to prolong?
I'm not going to prolong or protest. We were going to go to Oktoberfest, but this is the deal. Anthony and I shook on it. We're going to go to Oktoberfest next year. That's going to be part of the trip that we do next year. So you are officially invited to join us. Exactly.
We'll be there. And I just want to say, when traveling, when it's time to determine when to go home, just do what Lauren does and let your nails be your guide.
Michelle, it's so true. I've broken 2 toenails. My index right finger, the nail has fallen off. This is it. You know what?
Well, you want to know how I know? You want to know how I know summer? You want to know how I know summer is over? Because I've ripped off my pedicure.
Oh, I was going to say because your heels are bleeding and you now need some
No. They're healing. They're healing. I'm wearing socks. I'm wearing shoes. No. I've ripped my pedicure off, toes down to a nubbin. Happy fall, y'all. Happy fall, y'all. Spooky season is here. The heat has broken. Pumpkins and gourds are overflowing at the grocery stores and the farmers market. The cover has gone on the grill for the last time, and the soup pot is heating up. We're literally making pumpkin everything. I made pumpkin pancakes from scratch yesterday morning or a couple days ago, pumpkin cookies, pumpkin lattes. We are basic fall bitches over here at the Anderson house.
And I am so excited to dive into that pumpkin life with you. And I want to share something with you here in Tuscany, a very Tuscan stew. Have you had this? I think it's called, I'm fucking it up, so bear with me, listener. It's either ribollito or ribollita.
I've had it.
A bean and bread stew, some tomato. I'm going to put kale in it. I'm going to come up with a recipe.
You're bringing it back.
That is going to be my gift to my family and friends when we meet again in Chicago, because it's so cozy. You guys, listener, I will look for a recipe or create one of myself and share it with you guys. It's one of those that you feel like you're eating kind of healthy. I mean, yeah, there's bread, but there's beans, there's kale, there's tomato. It's all the good things that you
are eating healthy.
Put in a bowl, stuff your face with, and watch a scary movie.
I cannot wait for you to make that for me.
It's going to be so delicious. And, as I wrap up my day here in Tuscany, and we go and see our friends, I'm just reminded by how little it takes to whip up a delicious meal. All you need are those basic needs. And it just really leans into our life at home, which is what I've kind of been observing around here. It's a little goes a long way when it comes to flavor and delicious meals.
Slow simplicity.
Now, Michelle, we talked about this on the podcast, leading up to this trip, that I was really nervous about coming and traveling with a 2-year-old. Why? Because I know my daughter and she has meltdowns, but that's what kids do, right? But I guess I made it a bigger deal in my head. And I realized I had some fear associated with traveling with a toddler. And you and I were talking about what should we chat about on the podcast? And it was over how it's good, the benefits of doing things that scare the shit out of you. And also what comes from when you do the things that scare the shit out of you.
Stepping into your fear.
Stepping into it, and why doing shit that scares you is so important. Listen, if I sat here and said, I'm not going to travel until she's 5, so she maybe remembers some things or won't have a meltdown, then I wouldn't be enjoying this past month in Italy. I'd be at home, which is fine, doing my thing. If I wouldn't have had this experience, I would have let fear prevent me from doing what I wanted to do in my life. And I'm here to say doing the shit that scares you is so worth it.
I think that doing the shit that scares you is so worth it. And also the thing that guarantees an outcome of utter fucking joy, experience, a sense of presence, excitement, a want for more, because now you know.
And a big one too, personal growth.
Yeah.
I feel like this has helped me I've gained more tools as a mother, as a traveler, in my relationship with my husband and my mother-in-law. So much has come out of this idea we had that I was a little scared to do, but still faced it, still did it. And I know now moving forward, there's only more travels now to come. I'm not scared. I'm not oh no, now what? I'm 100%. Let's fucking go. So with that, Michelle, what I wanted to ask you is what is one thing or a couple of things that you have done that have scared you or you were scared to do, but in some way changed your life?
Oh my God. Well, I have been reflecting on this for a bit, and I look back and I think that there are two things. There's been little baby ones, but the two that I can remember the most, the first one, and I've talked about this, is nothing new, is stepping on stage with my band for the first time. I have never felt fear like I felt the day that I was walking into what was then Brixie's. I thought I was going to die of a heart attack,
Ugh.
but I didn't know then that that fear was going to be that thing that brought me something in a time in my life when our mom was so sick, when my kids were young, and I didn't really have time or space for another fucking thing.
Right.
But I did it because I was scared, but I wanted to. It had been something, I think, what people used to ask me all the time, if I could do one thing, what would it be? Since I was a teenager, and I would say I would sing in a band. So I think that there's been a little bit of a manifestation happening with this here. But my point is that fear brought me to a place where I was able to separate myself from the hardships of life. But in turn, what it taught me is that there's nothing to fucking be scared of. And I have made friends. I've learned things. I learn something every time I step in the room with the band. I feel better. I feel happier. It's just fun. And that was on the other side of that fear. Just fun and joy to bring other people. So yeah, that kind of was a biggie for me.
And that's a big one. And when you talk about that experience of like, you felt like you were going to die of a heart attack. I've had little moments like that too, on a different scale, but even like not die of a heart attack, but more like just like, how do I get past the fear? One silly one was giving myself my own IVF injections. Like I was so scared to do it.
You were scared shitless to put the shot in? Were you scared? Were you afraid you were going to make a mistake? Were you afraid you were going to fuck up the whole process?
All of the above. I was scared that would I get all of the medicine in? Is it going to hurt? Am I going to get in the right spot? Is it going to produce embryos? And then there was also having Anthony do it. So, I was having him do it. And so we always had to be together. And then it was like, we're never always together. This is hard to do if I can't do this by myself. And independently take charge of my own infertility. That was another thing I wanted to have a little bit more, like infertility, you have no control. You are absolutely at a loss and you're like, well, what do I have to do? Who do I have to see and talk to? And giving myself that shot myself when I would go and to a friend's birthday in a bar, I'd bring my little, like refrigerated bag, my cooler bag to the bathroom that was shitty and gross and dirty. I remember being in the bathroom, holding up my shirt and my teeth and giving myself a shot, kind of feeling like a badass because I had a little bit of control over that. And I was like, this is kind of awesome. I'm with my friends, the people I love most. I'm trying to make a baby and I'm going to go celebrate my best friend's birthday. And there's something to really be said about getting past the big or the small fears and how it boosts your confidence. And that's one of the, we have 3 different articles that we were kind of studying on. And one of the big things was this boost of confidence that these articles talk about, where once you get past something, it pumps you up to do it again. Michelle, I'm sure like with you, with the pigs, learning new songs, doing new vocals.
Totally. Not being afraid to fuck up and sound like an idiot the first time. Just like going, all of the things.
Another thing, Michelle, that I think collectively that you and I, and that's another thing about fear. Sometimes you can go in on it with somebody and that's helpful because if you're both scared, then
you can be scared together.
And with TSP, with the Sister Project, anytime you and I have started something in our business, whether it was a candle line or the podcast or the blog or redesigning and rebranding or our merch, there's always a little bit of fear there. What if? What if no one buys it? What if no one signs up? What if no one listens? Obviously, I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm still going to do it anyways. If we got stuck and let those be our roadblocks, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
If you don't do it, you feel like shit because you wish you should have, and then without the risk, there's no reward, right? Like if we don't try it, we'll never know. And the sister project has been one big giant ball of, if we don't try it, we'll never know. And that snowball is getting bigger. And now we're like, old pros at this thing, like making that first sale or calling that person for the first time we ever created a media kit and a menu of service and saying like, here, this is us and we're going to do this. I mean, I've had a door slammed in my face probably. Well, actually, I feel like I'm pretty good at it now. The door doesn't slam so much.
No, not as often.
But it doesn't. But that, you take your lumps and then you just get back on the horse and do it again. And the more you do it, the more it works out.
Yeah. And the more you do it, the more you can achieve your dreams and do the things that in life that you want to do. And it's less scary to do also everyday things. And, a couple conversations ago, maybe it was like 4 or 5, we talked about intuition. And I think intuition plays a huge role here because with fear, I feel like fear is there to protect you, right? Fear is like your nervous system, your brain saying like, hey,
yes,
this could be really scary. And our intuition,
a dangerous situation. Yes.
Yeah. And our intuition guides us. And if you can really tap into it, we'll either say like, this is a good fear-based opportunity. Like, let's go with it. Or if it's something that really, it scares you and it's for good reason, your intuition's going to kick in and be like, you know what? Let's take a pause on this. Let's wait. There's maybe a better brand deal to come, or maybe, maybe this isn't the right time to do something. Like listen to that voice and hear what your body and mind is telling you. And that can also help navigate the fear that comes up in life, I feel like.
I mean, the intuition can also be that thing that is telling you, this doesn't feel right. This comfortable space that you're in, that's like a warm room for whatever reason, everything is saying, but it still doesn't feel good. And you don't know yet that the feel good is on the other side of that fear. So, and like, when I made a decision to pursue this full bore, it was the fear around leaving a bigger paycheck and
a comfort zone.
Having a complete cushion was fucking terrifying. But more stress, more responsibility, but I don't know. I feel like what we're doing, what we're talking about here is such a huge example of what life looks like on the other side of fear. And that's why I'm so happy we're talking about this, because I hear and see people wanting to make or change, or maybe starting a new business venture. Shout out to our newest sponsor, Teresa Sullivan at Peterson Travels. But it's a big old fear-based leap that's pushing you off the edge. And I don't know, I just feel like we're great cheerleaders for folks too that are diving into that phase of life.
Totally. And I feel also that once you get past the fear, for instance, I remember, I feel like there's also sometimes imposter syndrome elevates that fear. I remember many moons ago, I was asked to lead a yoga teacher training. And I've been a teacher for, 15 something years. At that point, it was like a decade.
Yeah.
And I was just like, really, you guys want me to be you want me to teach people how to be teachers? And I was like, am I like even qualified for that? And I was feeling a lot of fear. And then once I got past that, I realized, yes, I should be teaching people how to be teachers. I am a good yoga teacher. Like they can learn from me and I want them to be good yoga teachers. And I'm going to learn from them. B, I've never done this before. It's going to be fun. And C, it opened up so much more opportunity for me as a yoga professional. And that is where fear is either going to make you or break you.
I have a good sort of anecdote to those thoughts, those repetitive, like impostery syndrome. I don't know how to do this. I'm afraid. What if I'm not good enough? I was working with Josie Dunn, actually. She was giving me voice lessons and she and I were shooting this shit over Zoom and we were talking and we were just having a really cool, vulnerable conversation about, performing and learning stuff. And when this incredible songbird of a young woman shared with me that even she gets nervous and even she is intimidated by other people, I realized in that moment that everybody, even the people that are on the biggest stages or make the most fucking money or whatever, everybody is just trying to figure it out at the same level. And then I was like, okay, I'm good. I can figure this out.
And to bring it back to kind of like full circle, like the traveling aspect, two people on this trip have said to me, well, don't you worry about the fact like Luna might not remember the trip. And for me, first of all, I think that is fucking ridiculous because what about me and Anthony's memories?
I was going to say, what about you guys? Can you guys have some memories?
What about us? Like, why? Yeah, she might not fucking ever remember being in Tuscany. First of all, we've got great photos for her to call upon and have. They're beautiful. But we have made such strides, even as a small family. And that is something that I was scared after we had Luna and we had taken a couple local trips on flights. One, I remembered flying to Utah and flying to Florida. They were horrific. And she was, 18 months old. That's a hard age to travel with because they're just getting their sea legs. They want to walk around. That is a harder moment to travel. And then I had this fear. I was like, what if we never travel again? Like, what if our dreams of seeing the world get put on hold for 5 years? And I have to say,
because of your fear. Yeah.
Because of my fear. And doing what we did in September made me feel alive again in a traveling aspect. I love, I love traveling within the States, but I am meant to be elsewhere and out there and experience and see and shop and eat and meet people. And this has this has filled my bucket.
And it also freaking grew like 40 bazillion neural pathways. Like, literally.
Yeah.
It really did.
It really
learned
did.
a lot.
Yeah. And another thing that I was so scared about was Luna sleeping. Is Luna going to be able to sleep? They really, if you do any kind of like, sleep training, you do get into a pattern of routine and it's very helpful at home. But guess what? I got news for you guys. Your kid's going to fucking
That shit's
sleep.
out the door?
Well, no. So we have our schedules and our routines. We kept all of the routines that we're supposed to do, but your kid's going to sleep when they're tired. Like, it's kind of like what you say to me. Like when I'm like, is Luna eating enough? You're like, she'll eat when she's hungry. And guess what? She sleeps when she's tired.
She'll sleep when she's tired. Yeah. Yep. Totally.
So I hope that, our listener out there, I would love for our listener to like take a moment and think about like, what is it that they want to do in their life right now or have dreams of doing at some point that's giving them fear. And I want them to fucking dive into it. And lean into that fear and think, what can come from it if I leave this shitty relationship and seek something better for me or apply for this job that I don't know if I'm good enough for it or whatever it might be. Use this season of fall. We're getting into the fall, winter seasons where we get to kind of like hunker down a little bit, like, go inside, go indoors, still get outside. But the seasons are changing. This is a really beautiful time of year to reflect what was going on this year. What are you kind of gearing up for the new year to come in 2025. We've got, we're still a few months away, but we still have this time now to reflect on what we've done and what we want to do, what is freaking us out, holding us back a little bit, and how can you, whether it's through therapy, manifesting, fucking vision boards, journaling, talking about it, whatever
terrorizing
it might be,
your friends and family, talking about it every minute of every day.
Keep doing it. Keep doing it. and then do
Put it out there.
Yes.
Put it out there.
Listen, the sister project didn't become the sister project because we weren't scared or because we just have been like kind of like winging it. Yeah, in a way we have been winging it, but we are smart winging it.
And it's consistent winging it, but winging it nonetheless.
Yeah, no shit. So I hope our listener hears this loud and clear and dives into some shit that's freaking them out a little bit and explores it. Okay, so Michelle, moving on from living in fear, but not living in fear and leaning into it and letting it help us grow and become the human being we are meant to be in different directions. What are you reading and watching and listening to? I'm reading Nothing New, Ask Andrea. It's awesome. That's the name of the book. It's spooky. I highly recommend it. Are you reading anything or are you?
I'm still listening to Good Energy by Casey Means. And I have to say that for folks that struggle with health anxiety and tend to get nervous about going to the doctor and stuff, I think this is a really good book to help you lean into your fear because we're afraid to hear the bad news. We're afraid to hear if our levels are wrong or if something is showing up. But what we can do to like lean into that and empower ourselves is educate ourselves on this whole world of things that we can do every single day that make us feel good and make our body function like a well-oiled machine. And I cannot recommend that book enough. And since I've been listening and I'm about halfway through now, I have kind of gone through my charts of my last year's physical blood work with her points and focusing on what we need to pay attention to. And I feel more like my own doctor than I ever have in my life because I understand what I'm reading. And I also have the words and the language to push back and challenge and ask for more to advocate for myself. So step into that fear.
Okay, I love that. And that sounds like that's a book for me. Moving into watching, Michelle, I have gotten myself, my mother-in-law, and Anthony hooked, capital H, with Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. And all I am going to say is,
what are your thoughts? I've been watching myself.
So I believe that this series is created by Ryan Murphy, who I believe is the same guy that does American Horror Story.
That's correct.
You can sense some of that kind of depth of weirdness and darkness. I remember the Menendez trial. I remember the accusations to the father. I've not gotten to the point where they have yet accused the father of sex abuse and whatnot. I don't even know. Do we even know? Is that a plea? Was that a defense mechanism? Do we know if the father was really sexually abusing them? Is this? I don't know. Fucking. It's one of the weirdest, wildest murder true crimes. I mean, they blew their fucking parents away with shotguns in the middle of the living room.
And I have to say, Ryan Murphy really spared no thing to the imagination with that scene. Wow. I was like, all right. I was on the receiving end of the head being blown off. I was like, thanks, Ryan Murphy.
We shouldn't be Halloween. Yeah, happy Halloween. We shouldn't be watching or laughing. But even my mother-in-law was like, whoa, well, that was intense. I'm like, they literally, it's so graphic. And honestly, Michelle, I remember being 10, 11, 12 years old. I'll say 12, 13 years old. Looking at the crime scene photos as a little kid because I was
such a weirdo.
So weird. But when I saw that was about to go down, I'm like, don't tell me they're going there. They got as detailed as it's a horribly gruesome murder. But we'll see. Is it entertaining? It absolutely is. Spoiler alert, the scene where the mom rips off her son's toupee.
Lauren, were they kidding? What the fuck?
So one of the
I think Chloe didn't push back on that scene. I'm shocked. She was like, guys, I don't know. Maybe we should work around this.
So you guys, there's one of the Menendez brothers had a piece. He had a hair piece. He's now rocking the bald head in prison because they don't give toupees to prisoners, I don't think. So, but back when he was like, I don't know, 17, 18, 19, however old he was.
17 or 18? He had a fucking cul-de-sac?
Yeah, total cul-de-sac.
Hardcore.
Yeah, and his parents got him a piece, and his mom got so mad at him, she ripped it off in this scene, and we watched that scene a good 3 or 4 times. It was like she scalped him. Let's be honest. It was like
she scalped him. It was like she scalped him. It was bad. I was taken aback.
So
peeking on an edible, taken aback.
Same. So do we recommend Monsters, the story of Lyle and Eric Menendez? I say
100%.
The Sister Project gives it 2 thumbs up.
100%. Watch that shit for some good old fashioned fucked up entertainment.
It's so wild. Oh my God. Okay. And then the only thing we're listening to Yacht Rock, and my favorite band is the band by the name of Devachka. They did the soundtrack to Little Miss Sunshine. We have been listening to that on repeat while driving through Tuscany. And I have to say that it's this time of year is a Devachka time of year. If you don't know them, check them out. They are just so eclectic in their sound and their vibe. So that's what I've been listening to. Michelle, who is Benson Boone?
Oh, I don't know who he is. Okay. I know he's a 22-year-old.
Okay.
It's a man. It's a 22-year-old singer-songwriter. I think he's a singer-songwriter. And I guess I'm a cat lady because
Wait, why?
He can sing. Okay. He's adorable. He can sing. He can do backflips off of a piano. His words make me cry. I feel like he's a young man. I'm Mrs. Robinson for even making that comment.
That's okay.
And I'm sorry, but I'm just being honest. But his music is about like young love and broken hearts and finding love and trusting love. I'm
Sounds
just
beautiful.
like, it's so good. He's so good.
When you said, I guess I'm not a cat lady, I was taking it that you were attracted to a her because I don't know, you meowed. I don't know. I'm just
fell flat. Hopefully it did not fall flat in the ear of our listener.
And now for our listener, let's share with them what we are doing for our own cozy, mindful well-being. And I'll hit it off. I am loving traveling with my mother-in-law, Candy. Having this opportunity to spend time with her and have some really good conversations, learn from her, laugh with her. She has also, like I mentioned earlier in the episode, helped me not take so much of this shit so seriously when it comes to behaviors of toddlers. Luna will be literally losing her utter shit, and Candy is still shopping. She's either still shopping or she's going.
Can't hear it. Doesn't bother her.
She'll go, what happened? What's wrong? Where I'm like, sometimes breathing into a paper bag. I have to say too, I mentioned this earlier, I believe too, she's turning 70 this year. She's never done anything like this. And it is a huge talk about someone leaning into an idea that gives them a little fear, but goes with it anyways. And we have recapped about like, how has she felt? And she has loved this whole experience. And one of the really big reasons why she also did this was she wanted to grow her relationship with Luna. And that I know it's a lump in my throat.
I can't.
And it has, you can see there, she looks for Candy. If Candy walks away, where's
Condi?
Luna?
Condi. Is she calling her Condi?
By the way, listener, Luna doesn't call Grandma Candy Grandma. She goes, where's Condi? And she calls her by her first, and no Chicago accent. So it's straight up Condi. She sounds British.
So cute. It's so cute.
So I have to say, traveling with her has been something very therapeutic and really beautiful also for my relationship with her. I've really enjoyed we've been living together for a full month. I don't know if I could say I would. She's easy to do that with.
She's easy to live with. She's
Michelle,
amazing.
what about you? Shit, I see it already. You're getting into fall.
Oh no, I'm fall as fuck over here. I mean, the house is decorated. I spent, way too much money at Trader Joe's on their like felted garland and pumpkins. The harvest candles crackling on the counter. I'm really taking note of all the things. And I've just never felt more like this is a good season, not just because it's fall, because It's fall, y'all, and we freaking worship it. I just feel like I'm in a good headspace and I want to really take note and enjoy every minute with my kids and Brian and just all the things.
I love that. And you guys, she just mentioned our harvest candle. I don't know what better way than to make your house smell fall as fuck than by lighting a harvest candle. It's our soy coconut wax candle that's made locally in Downers Grove, Illinois. And has notes of apple, pumpkin. So think when we say pumpkin, we're meaning spices, right? So it has that spice to it. And then it has a pinch of cinnamon. And it's in this beautiful vessel. We've just rebranded them. Michelle, you showing off? There it is. We just rebranded the label. And I have to say, I've never been happier with one of our products before than I am with our candles.
Nailed it. Whoa, I got a frog in my throat on that one.
talk about changing something. We were ready to move on from its previous look, and we're like, well, what if people don't like it? Well, too bad. That's it. Too bad.
I tell you what, you want to know what? I'll tell you what about us. There's one thing we're not afraid of, and it's pivoting and changing our minds. We like to go with the direction of our creative ideas. And we
creative flow, and we do. You guys, so with that, we are on the cusp of October. It is officially fall, y'all. So happy fall. And as always,
stay cozy.
Thank you for joining us for today's cozy conversation. For more of The Sister Project, check us out on Instagram at The Sister Proj and our website, www.thesisterprojectblog.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast and maybe even drop us a review. Until next time, stay cozy.